a special show today because we have with us, joining us in the studio, Mr. T.M. Krishna, who is an eminent Carnatic music vocalist and a man who is known to break traditions. He is also credited with reigniting the interest in this Southern classical music genre. If you can tell me why title the book Southern Music, the Carnatic Story, with the spelling Carnatic, with the K and the T-I-K.
That's a question that's bothering a lot of people. Actually, we battled with that for a long time. We were wondering whether to go with the C, which is the traditional C and C, and I was very uncomfortable with the phonetic sound of C and Ka, and I was battling with that. The right way to actually pronounce the music is Karnataka music. Basically, HarperCollins said, would you like to write something on Carnatic music? And basically, the two things just came together. And I think it just happened at the right time, in the sense I think I had a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts all scattered around. And this is a nice way for me to bring it together and kind of see that there was a thread in what was happening in my life as an artist and the way I was dealing with a lot of issues. So for me, it was very special. See, one of the things I've dealt in the book also is the fact that our memory of Carnatic music is the recorded history of Carnatic music. Audio recorded history of Carnatic music is our only memory of Carnatic music. So when we talk about Carnatic music, though we speak about it over 2,500 years old, we love everything is 2,500 years old in this country. Yes. We are actually referring only to that recorded history. And we are making this huge leap of, I don't know, faith or belief or whatever, and in making this connect over 1,000 or 2,000 years, which in its own construction is flawed, obviously. So, you know, this whole belief that Carnatic music was in a certain fashion, actually the most interesting aspect which I found through my reading is that this whole idea of the Kacheri format is so closely wedded to the social issues and the social and the nationalistic issues, and like you rightly said, the colonial encounter of the early 19th century. You know, first I think we should first recognize that Carnatic music has predominantly been elite art. It has not been popular art. I think that is something I'd like to first state. It is not like it's been elite only in the last century. The Devadasis were part of an elite narrative. Yes. Therefore, the community of the Devadasis and the Nagasura Vidwans were very closely tied to them. They were the same family of musicians. And the king and the Brahmins were all part of an elite narrative. I really don't know whether Carnatic music is art music or religious music. And I ask people, why don't you go to a bhajan session? I mean, how is it very different? I would say actually among the 4 states in the south, a state where there is an audience at least that crosses many caste boundaries is actually in Kerala rather than in Tamil Nadu. And it's interesting that even there are certain issues and certain problems that need to be looked at. And I think that's what he's... honestly, the construction of Carnatic music as you see it today is a construction of 1920s to 40s, whether it is the theory or the practice. Okay, even the theory books were written around that time. 75 years. Yeah, I don't think there is any real modern point of intervention in the last 75 years. I don't think there is. So a bunch of guys got together, guys and girls said they were all in college then, they said, you know, we will give opportunities for young people who are below the age of 30, which is like unbelievable in the world of classical arts. You have to be at least 60, I think. I don't know what you have to be at that point of time. So in a way, it completely changed the perception of a Carnatic musician. So young people started becoming Carnatic musicians. And I think many of us are product of that movement. And it's through the 90s that whether it was Sanjay Subramaniam, Muni Krishnan, Sudha Raghunathan, of course, slightly senior than us, Vijay Shiva, all of us came through that changeover. And I think Carnatic music, in some ways, I must say Carnatic music is rare, that a so-called classical art form has so many people who sing and play the mridangam violin who are below the age of 50, you know, in terms of caste. We just believe just because we say, we don't stop anybody from coming, people will come. They don't realize there's a culture of art, like a culture of education. There's a culture of going to school.
The doors are closed.
Exactly. So the doors are actually closed because you're not welcoming. You're not addressing the issue that you need to go to people and actually welcome them and give them also ownership of this art. We are not, the fact is, the truth is, we are not doing that. I think we have to recognize that the NRI today is a huge player in terms of an audience and in terms of even producing a lot of good musicians. especially North America, great difficulty in people describing the last 15 years of Carnatic music as being aesthetically downtrended. I would like to say that anything that you see today is a reflection of what also happened in 1920.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You cannot distance the happenings of today from the past just because it's Palghat Maniyar or Arikudi Ramarajenga or M.D. Ramanathan or whoever you may think is the greatest musician. I hold them as responsible, in fact more responsible, if I may say so, for what has happened to Carnatic music. So it is not a jump of history that has happened. It is the fact that there has been a constant movement towards a direction which you recognize today from your perception of art, which you're most entitled to have, as being, if I may use the word, degenerative of some sort, with exceptions of who you think reflect more of that old that you treasure. I want to hear Carnatic music in an acoustic guitar. I've always said I want to hear it. I'm very curious because I just get a sense that that sound and Carnatic and Indian music will somehow go. I know it's very hard to do. But the question I should ask is, if you're thinking of these changes, are you thinking of these changes to spice it up? Or are you thinking of these changes because you think that these can be absorbed into the aesthetic universe within which you want them to be present? To me, the latter is far more important. And if the latter, if you're able to view the latter well, you can, I don't have a problem in any other instrument. The mandolin came in, the electric guitar has come in, and today we don't even view it as being, fusion. I'll go with the habituated tradition now, of a song that is usually sung at the end of a Tyagaraja Utsava. So let's just fall into the trap before we go, because it's a beautiful song, no other reason. Geeta arthamu Geeta arthamu Geeta arthamu Geeta nandamu Nita Puna Judara Manasa Geetarthamu Sangeeta Nandamu